The house is a complete disaster, but we're gonna can and we're gonna dehydrate and preserve things. So we have a ton of zucchini that we got from the garden. We also have some crookneck squash that I got from the garden. And so we're gonna do this thing I saw on Pinterest called like pineapple zucchini or something, where you boil the zucchini cubes in pineapple juice and dehydrate them. So we're gonna see how that goes. That'll be the first time I do that. And then we're going to shred some zucchini. I want to make a zucchini coffee cake, and I also want to make, I don't know what else I want to make. I think I just want to shred some zucchini just for later, for in the future. And then we have a ton of tomatoes that we got from the garden, and I went and got even more from the local fruit stands. And I also got a whole half bushel of peaches, and so that all has to be done today, tomorrow, the next day. So we're gonna get chugging and we're gonna see how this goes, because the kitchen's a disaster. I love this cross over whatever it's called apron. I got it from Amazon for $10, and I think it's so cute and it covers everything just right. I think this is the medium one, but I really like it. So you can't see, but it's awesome because then I can wipe my hands on it and I don't have to worry about getting anything super dirty. So I'm gonna put a big pot of water on to boil to blanch my tomatoes and my peaches and anything else that I have today. And then I'm also going to put pineapple juice into a big pot so I can start getting that heating, and cut up my zucchini into cubes and wash it so that I can go ahead and get that started boiling on the stove. I have a feeling we'll probably do this in a couple batches, but we'll see how this goes. Actually, that might just be perfect. Yeah, I think we'll be good right there. All right, boil until translucent. All right, I'm really hoping my zucchini is done here so I can switch my setup for blanching the tomatoes. Let's chase this here. Oh, it's hot. Woo! I don't know. They're definitely soft, and they do have a pineapple flavor. I don't know, let's let that go for a little bit longer. It's been a few more minutes and stuff is looking a little bit better. And I had to turn my water stove up for my water to boil a little bit better. And so I think we're gonna take this off and move him over. Does that make things better actually? Yes, it does. It does make things better. I'll put you back on high. Move you guys here. And ice water, that is no longer ice water, will be here. So we're going to let those boil for about 30 seconds before we put put them into this bowl, and then I don't know where I'm gonna put them after this because I need this bowl.
So just a couple notes from this recipe. I would actually make the zucchini chunks larger next time and not dehydrate them as long as I originally did, because those pieces got real sharp. But I really liked and enjoyed snacking on them at work. I'm a very snacky person at work, and so it was very nice to just have these healthy little nuggets of pretty good tasting healthiness that I was able just to snack on all night. So it was actually quite good. As much as they were sharp, they were really nice.
Finishing the tomatoes, and I was thinking that I had quite a few more tomatoes than that. I was like, wow, that went really fast. And then I remembered I still have a whole box of veggies that I got from my own garden this morning that I completely forgot to do anything with and blanch and clean. And so we're gonna start that whole process over again a little bit later, but I'm finally getting the kitchen a little bit cleaner. But I don't know if you can see, that's a big box full of tomatoes. And I have more zucchinis that I completely forgot about. So I finally have a clean kitchen. At least this area is clean. And I'm gonna start putting my tomato skins on the dehydrator trays, and we're probably gonna use this whole stack plus some of the dehydrator trays, so they'll might have to wait till tomorrow or later tonight to finish drying those. But once we finish drying them, I'm either going to put them in the spice grinder and powder them, or I haven't tried it in the blender yet, so I'll try it in the blender and see if that works just as well. So, because there's going to be a lot more tomato skins than I have done in the past, because there's a lot more tomatoes. And I have even more tomatoes. These are the tomatoes that I just finished blanching, and they're peeled. And then these are the tomatoes that we got from our garden, and we still have some in the box over there. So I have a lot more blanching to do before we even touch the peaches. So those will probably be a tomorrow project if I get to them. So let's do this. Every day is a learning day. Ooh, ow, woo! I cut my finger when I was washing dishes, and I don't recommend this, but I put super glue on the cut because it's a fairly large cut. And I put super glue on it to close it, and it works because it's not bleeding, but I guess my super glue has failed a little bit and it's stinging. Definitely think these are going to take a little bit longer to dry because they're not so pretty and laid out like I usually do. But before, all I've ever done with the tomatoes is, what have I done with the tomatoes? I dehydrated them in like tomato slices. Okay, well, let's see how that goes. This is a pretty good dehydrator tray. I'm borrowing it from my mother-in-law because she isn't using it, and this is our first year having a garden together, and my first year having a big garden. Ooh, ow. So there's been a lot of preserving things already, and I say a lot, but I say that with a kind of a caveat. I've been gone for the last few weeks for work, and so missed out on a lot of the harvest, but it seems like I came back and just everything's kind of exploded. The garden's definitely a food forest right now. They're taller than I am, the tomatoes are. And before I left, our zucchinis were kind of our squashes really. So our zucchini, our yellow zucchini, golden zucchini, the crookneck, definitely the spaghetti squash. I pulled him because he was having a really hard time. But they were all kind of not doing well, and I found some squash bugs, quite a few squash bugs, like a couple months ago, and I was like, oh, we should keep an eye on them, and we didn't do anything, and then all of a sudden our zucchini was dying, and I was like, all right, we got to do something. And I didn't think they would come back, but they came back, because we had only gotten two green zucchinis out of maybe 4 zucchinis out of our plant, and the zucchini I got from one of our neighbors, my mother-in-law's neighbors, and I was able to make that coffee cake before. But yeah, so we got rid of the squash bugs, and I was like, all right, well, we'll just have to keep an eye on them next year, because I thought they were, on the outs. I thought these little plants were dead and gone, and I come back and their leaves are massive and they're producing zucchini again. They're doing pretty well. You just gotta fix the problem and they'll come back, I guess. Yeah, so I've been gone for work for the last few weeks, and during that time I've been kind of researching, just watching videos really, a little bit more and more about preserving the harvest, and I read a couple books, and I have a couple books on order. Preserving the harvest, and kind of starting to look into starting our seeds ourselves next year. We did not start our seeds ourselves. We got starts from local places here, and they did really well. All our tomatoes were good, our peppers were good. We really didn't do any seeds this year. We got some scallions, and they did pretty good. So, with the success of the garden this year, and kind of having the garden and craving more really, and kind of aiming towards preserving what we're able to grow, as more of like a food source for us instead of just like a hobby. I've been looking into starting our own plants indoors and stuff like that, and saving seeds, minimizing waste as far as like stuff that we've grown ourselves. So that's stuff that I've just been, looking at while I've been gone. And something I've really enjoyed doing as well. It's been fun to kind of sit there and research all of this, and how can we implement this into our, our kind of situation. We don't have our own land, and so we are using someone else's land, and so what's the best way to utilize this property and this land to the best of our ability without taking away value from, my mother-in-law is where we're growing this garden, and without keeping it pretty and keeping it not from taking over too much, although I think I've already done that. And kind of leaving things better than when you found them as well. And so hopefully we'll be able to put more nutrients into the soil and bring the yard back a little bit. It's just kind of like hay right now. Not even hay. It is. Okay, cool. So all those are done. And so now we're gonna put them on the dehydrator and start cooling our tomatoes. So I got this handy dandy little strawberry holder, tomato core. We're gonna see how this goes. Because if not, then it's gonna be, oh my gosh. No way. That was awesome. That's a tomato skin. And we want to get rid of him anyway. Okay, cool. Gotta keep my pots organized here in the right place. All right, well, I'll finish this whole big massive pot and I'll be back. So I now have all of my tomatoes cored and peeled and blanched and all the good stuff. So I'm going to toss these into a pot and we're gonna go ahead and start cooking them down a little bit. I'm not gonna cut them, but I am gonna go ahead and either use an immersion blender or like a potato masher to go ahead and crush some of the tomatoes. I think all of these tomatoes I'll just make into crushed tomatoes, and I can make them into a tomato sauce if I need to later. And then I have all the rest of my tomatoes that I haven't touched yet that I'll see if I can make into some sort of salsa or something. I haven't done a canned tomato salsa yet, so we're gonna go ahead and toss these in the pot. Okay, now we're gonna start mashing tomatoes. I've got my I've got my tomatoes going in the pot. I'm gonna keep mashing them with this potato masher and kind of get them down to a good, I don't know, probably a little bit chunkier than crushed tomatoes because they'll cook down a bit, and then we'll just kind of let them simmer on the stove for a bit. I did a quick hand wash on my mason jars and tossed them into the dishwasher. I'm going to do a 1 hour cycle on them, which I think will be plenty of time to have the tomatoes cook down. And then I'll take a look at my water bath canner situation. Okay, so I am setting up my canning space. I have silicone mats that I place onto my countertop so that it's an easy cleanup when I am putting the food into the jars. And then I also have my lids and my screw tops in warm water. I'll show you my setup here. So I have, these are the other tomatoes, but I have my lids and my tops, my jar lifter, my, funnel, all my canning supplies, and I just washed all this, and so it's all clean and good to go. I really like this silicone spoon holder. When I have been canning the jams and such, it's nice to have that little easy holder to go ahead and clean. That's easy to clean. I like that, and then it's also nice when I have really drippy things on the ladle and I can kind of scoop that under and go ahead and tip the things into the funnel to put it into the can. So it's becoming really handy, and I kind of enjoy my canner setup right now. So we're just testing our steam canner to see where its maximum point of temperature is for the first time, and then the dishwasher's still going for the jars. I have a feeling it'll still be a while for the tomatoes anyway, so probably good timing. So I might get started on dinner here soon, so we'll see. Well, that was a way long day for me to step back into the canning since I've been gone for work and preserving the tomatoes. I still have my last two going in right now. Those are the ones that came out, the 7, so I'll have like 8.5 crushed tomatoes and quarts of crushed tomatoes, and then we have all of the dinner dishes to do. So thank you for joining me today, and we will pick this up again tomorrow.
Hello everybody, thank you so much for joining me today on this video. It was such a big canning day. I was up from the crack of dawn until well after sunset getting everything done, and I kept finding produce on my counter and in my car and stuff I had left at the garden. So there was so much to do, guys. I didn't even show you everything. But thank you so much for joining. Please hit that like and subscribe button so that we can reach as many people as possible and really create a big, loving, kind community. And I'm so excited to be able to start this journey with you, and we'll see you in the next video.